Hell, hey Michael,
Can you feel it when I push you?
Dude, what the heck? Of course I can feel it, man.
Do you know why you can feel the stimulus?
No.
Because action potential.
Wait, what? Dude, I want to learn about it.
Me too.
I bet you guys do too. So it's Darsh and Michael from AP Bio 30, and you guys already know what we're talking about, so let's get into it. So as you can see, we have a graph labeled on here, and I'll be honest, it's very poor because, I mean, nothing's labeled, so let's label it on, guys. So the last tick over here, it's negative 80 megavolts. That is when the neuron is hyperpolarized. We'll talk about more later. Then this one is negative 70 megavolts, and this is considered the resting potential when the neuron is polarized. You see this dotted line we have over here? That is negative 55 megavolts, and that is the threshold potential of the neuron. And we'll talk about it way more in detail, so hang on there. The very top tick we got is 35 positive megavolts, and that is the neuron's electric potential. So these are very important charges to know when you're doing stuff, so yeah.
Okay, so starting off, we're going to start off with the resting potential, which is negative 70 megavolts. And in the resting potential, resting, or otherwise known as polarized, the neuron is using active transport, more specifically the sodium-potassium pump, to pump 3 Na plus out of the neuron and 2 K plus into the neuron. 3 out, and then 2 in. And here I just have an example of a subthreshold stimulus, which is a stimulus that hasn't generated enough stimuli or like response to pass the threshold and produce the action potential. So this is a subthreshold.
It's like the all or none response. You need a higher threshold value in order for the actual potential to occur. Otherwise, no, none.
Nice. Okay, so when the action potential does occur, the neuron goes into a phase called depolarization.
Depolarization. Remember that word.
Here, the sodium gates open, Na plus gates open, and Na floods into the neuron. Floods in. Okay, and once it reaches the electric potential, which is positive 35 megavolts, the neuron will quickly go into repolarization. And here, this is when sodium gates close and potassium channels or gates open.
DNA, depolarization sodium.
Okay.
RK,
and
potassium.
K plus floods out of the neuron. Oftentimes, too much K plus will flood out of the neuron, causing the neuron to go into hyperpolarization, which drops into the negative 80 megavolts. Okay, and when this happens, the neuron will quickly try to return to resting or polarized state by using the active transport or the sodium-potassium pump we talked about earlier. And it will use that and it will close all the other gates and it will return back to the resting or polarized state.
So there's this cool period called refractory period, guys. And that's basically when the neuron cannot be stimulated. Cannot be re-stimulated. Like it could be, like it takes a couple milliseconds once it can be stimulated, and that's known as the refractory period. So this is the actual potential, but like you'll be wondering what's next, right? So like basically after that, there's a synapse. Like if you guys know the axon structure like really well, not the axon, the neuron structure, it goes dendrite, cell body, axon, and axon terminal. After the axon terminal, there's a synaptic knob, and like synapse is like the transmission of like nerve signals from one neuron to the other, and they basically do that by neurotransmitters. But we'll have that in another video. So that's all for today. Hope you guys liked the video.
Darsh, just a question. Where'd you get this medal?
Oh, I beat Mr. McKay in badminton. And if you guys like the video, please, if you like it, then you like it and you subscribe. Hope you had a great time. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace. Oh, hey Darsh. Hey Michael.
Can you feel it when I touch you?